Mushrooms. Mushrooms is something I've been getting into lately, and in a few different ways. So first of all, I should introduce you to Shawnee Scarecrow. That's him right there. But these are some mushroom beds that I made. I bought some mushroom spawn, grain spawn, from a supplier, Aussie Mushroom Supplies I think it was. And it gives instructions of how to layer sawdust straw, wood chips. You do a layer and then you put the grain spawn in and layer it in the other way. And then just keep watering it, and then after a while, hopefully, that should start popping up mushrooms. I've got King Stropharia mushrooms and king oyster mushrooms. There's another weed tea bin, and of course the chook palace. The way I got into mushrooms in the first place was that I heard about a local organic mushroom grower so the thing with organic mushrooms, commercial growers, is as soon as they start getting fungus gnats, they're little tiny sort of fruit fly things, or any kind of mould, they have to basically retire the beds. A commercial, conventional grower would spray them to kill those things and keep producing mushrooms. The thing about the organic growers, though, is because they can't spray them, they have to retire the beds before they're actually stopped producing mushrooms. So our local grower is kind enough to sell us on those beds at a very low rate, and you can either use them as mushroom compost, which is what I've done in those compost bins up there that I've shown you, or you can keep watering them and they'll keep growing. Now, it took me maybe four attempts before I figured out a good way to actually keep them moist and grow more mushrooms. But we've had amazing success with them and grown heaps of mushrooms, and I just love growing mushrooms. So this is the way we ended up being able to do it, this contraption that Shawnee created. Again, all reused materials, but I'll open it up to show you how. The blanket is what keeps it moist. All right. So when we get these beds, we slide them at the bottom, the middle, and put them in the top. And so we can grow 6 beds of mushrooms at the same time if we want to. This, however, is something different. I also tried making these beds with the grain spawn that I got. And as you can see, very exciting, they're starting to produce. So this was the method where you pasteurize the straw, mix in the grain spawn, and then pack it really tightly you can pack it into a tub like this. You can drill holes in a container and pack the straw into there, or you can use these, they're called mushroom, what are they called? Mushroom straw logs or something. So you basically pack them full of the pasteurized straw with the grain spawn, and they will then start growing from out of the little holes. So I'm really excited at what's happening there. But there's yet one more kind of mushrooms that I want to show you. So this is around on the south side of our house where it's quite shady. They get a little bit of sunlight, not much. So this is called inoculating logs with mushroom spawn. What you need is some sort of hardwood. Any hardwood will do. Probably best not the hardest of hardwoods because it's just so hard to drill into. And it also importantly needs to be cut no longer than 5 weeks ago because it has to be fresh. The reason for that is that the mushrooms need all that cellulose and living sort of tissue from the tree to feed off. And the process that you do it is that I'm trying to find here. So you see how I don't know if you can see it, it's here. Sean has drilled holes in there, and you buy dowling that is inoculated with mushrooms. You hammer a piece of dowling in and cover it over with beeswax. And you do that every 10 centimetres or so. So you can see there around, there's another, and there must be one up there, yep, and another one. So that goes right around each log, 10 centimetres up and down. You stand them in a bucket of water because you don't want them to dry out. And this is a very long-term mushroom plan. So this one can take a year to a year and a half to even start producing mushrooms. But the beauty of this method is that once they start, they can go then for 5 or 10 years. So I'm thinking these smaller logs might go, if we're lucky, they'll go for 5 years. The much bigger logs might go even longer. And they just keep producing. Mushrooms feed off cellulose. So as they eat the wood, that's their food, and they keep producing. So I'll have to keep you posted what happens with that. They've been there about maybe 2 months, so we're a long way off mushrooms yet, but it's really exciting.